In the beginning of the drama, we see a beautiful woman is on a blind date. The man asks her how much cash she has saved up, and the woman thinks it's inappropriate to discuss this upon first meeting. The man then inquires about her profession. She is a civil servant with modest income but stable employment, and he seems satisfied with her job. Before the woman can speak, the man comments on her age, hoping she would immediately try to conceive after marriage. The woman quickly interrupts him, stating she is a firm believer in remaining unmarried and that she came out today merely to meet men, to date if suitable, or have a casual encounter if attracted. Before leaving, she mocks the man, saying that if everyone could marry, it would cause severe social issues. This woman is young Hannah, 29 years old, a staunch singlehood advocate. As a civil servant, Hannah's salary isn't much, but since she isn't planning to marry or have children, she spends her money freely and lives a carefree life. After her day job, Hannah usually goes to the gym, then to a recording studio to sing, and ends her day with a beer on the couch, contemplating her life goals. She plans to save money and live as a street performer in the Mediterranean countryside after retirement. To maintain this pleasant single life, young Hannah must keep her civil servant job. However, one day a man visits her department looking for the team leader, who had secretly left early. The man then comes in carrying a bucket of waste, which ends up spilling on young Hannah. She considers herself unlucky, changes her clothes, and then sees a notice at the city hall. The notice is about forming a marriage promotion team directly under the mayor, meant to push civil servants to encourage citizens to marry, with a promise of high marks in personnel evaluations for participants. Young Hannah is indifferent to this, since the fear of marriage is increasing among young people, and playing matchmaker is a thankless task. While she is reading the notice, the team leader calls, and it happens that young Hannah's phone is on her desk, where she sees she has been saved in his phone as Brat. He pretends to be magnanimous, asking young Hannah to express any complaints about him. She mentions that whenever there's a difficult complaint, he disappears to the restroom, leaving the hard work to his subordinates. That afternoon, young Hannah is transferred to the marriage promotion team, feeling helpless as a non-believer in marriage, forced to play matchmaker. 3 years ago, young Hannah wasn't determined against marriage. Working at a marriage agency under performance pressure, she introduced a woman to a man of poor character, resulting in the woman being mistreated. At that time, young Hannah was about to marry her own boyfriend, with wedding invitations already printed, but he cheated on her the very day they were to send out the invites, which led her to lose all desire for marriage. Now, as a person indifferent to marriage, she is forced to discuss how to push the mayor's marriage promotion project in a team meeting. According to her research, more than half of the interviewees in their 20s and 30s believe marriage is not necessary in an environment where fear of marriage is prevalent. So how is it possible to advance the mayor's project? The mayor brought some materials instructing the team to start with a young man named Bong Kol-hee. A documentary had been made about him. Bong Kol-hee was born on a small island and was of marriageable age. He cares for his nephews and nieces daily, eager to marry but unable to find a partner. The mayor planned to use Bong Kol-hee as a breakthrough, assigning young Hannah, with her matchmaking experience, to find him a wife. The mayor promised a special reward if young Hannah completed the task. After weighing her options, young Hannah decided to accept, hoping to be transferred to her desired department upon completion. The mayor agreed. Young Hannah reviewed the information and took a boat to Bong Kol-hee's island the next day. Upon arriving, she met a young man wielding an axe, talking on the phone about harshly splitting something and burying it. Young Hannah imagined a scene from a movie involving dismemberment, and startled, she fell before the man approached. She quickly left the area despite feeling uneasy about the island, but continued her mission. Young Hannah contacted the village head to explain her purpose and inquire about Bong Kol-hee's whereabouts. Soon after, the axe-wielding young man reappeared, and young Hannah then learned this rough and fierce-looking guy was Bong Kol-hee. She introduced herself and her purpose. The naive Bong Kol-hee thought young Hannah was a scammer, and demanded to see her civil servant ID. Young Hannah accurately named her department and reiterated her purpose. Bong Kol-hee couldn't understand why a civil servant would help him marry. An anxious young Hannah snatched Bong Kol-hee's phone, demanding he listen to her, before it accidentally dropped and broke. Bong Kol-hee hurriedly picked up his damaged phone, feeling very upset. Then a broadcast on the island announced, congratulating Bong Kol-hee on his upcoming marriage. Bong Kol-hee quickly moved away from young Hannah, yet was convinced she wasn't deceiving him. Young Hannah handed Bong Kol-hee an application, telling him to just fill in the information and the city hall would find him a suitable marriage partner. Bong Kol-hee returned the materials to young Hannah, stating he never said he wanted to marry. The previous documentary had exaggerated his desire for marriage. Young Hannah quickly grabbed Bong Kol-hee's hand, explaining the various benefits of marriage, like emotional and ideological support from a spouse. Just then, a text about her nightly singing class arrived. If she didn't leave the island soon, she would miss today's lesson. Thinking of this, young Hannah hurriedly grabbed Bong Kol-hee's wrist, asking if there was a spare room in his house. Determined to leave the marriage fraud promotion team, young Hannah vowed to get Bong Kol-hee married no matter what. Bong Kol-hee's house was small but warm. Upon their first meeting, Bong Kol-hee prepared a delicious meal for young Hannah. His nephews and nieces mistakenly thought young Hannah was their uncle's girlfriend, sweetly stating there would be no problem living with her. Bong Kol-hee, always single, was very shy. After dinner, Bong Kol-hee asked young Hannah if she was married. Facing Bong Kol-hee's question, young Hannah shared her personal woes, including her failed matchmaking experiences and her boyfriend's infidelity. Young Hannah currently believes she is not qualified to marry. To her, marriage means trust and responsibility, and only those who can make each other happy should marry. Although she doesn't know Bong Kol-hee well, witnessing his responsibility towards his family makes her believe he is a reliable and good person. Bong Kol-hee smiles, honestly admitting he is not only a good person but also faithful. Young Hannah returns to her workplace, planning to observe Bong Kol-hee's situation over a few days. Unexpectedly, the next day she receives a call that Bong Kol-hee is waiting for her downstairs. Happily, he hands her a completed marriage application, ready to marry and test his eligibility. Young Hannah is thrilled. Suddenly, a man behind her softly calls her name. She turns around to see her ex-boyfriend, the one who had cheated on her. Young Hannah slaps him, believing it's what he owes her. Bong Kol-hee rushes back, thinking young Hannah is being harassed. She takes his arm and tells her ex that Bong Kol-hee is her fiancé. Both men are shocked. Young Hannah pretends to be affectionate with Bong Kol-hee, lying that he is her fiancé. After her ex leaves, the honest Bong Kol-hee asks when they're marrying, praising the efficiency of civil servants, and cheerfully leaves to prepare for the wedding. Young Hannah is still processing when she discovers her ex, Choi Ki-jun, is the new head of the marriage morale team. Young Hannah avoids being alone with Choi Ki-jun. After work, she returns to the office for her forgotten phone, and Choi Ki-jun grabs her arm. She coldly states she has moved on from the past. Choi Ki-jun recalls her trying on a wedding dress 3 years ago, beautiful and seemingly within reach of happiness. Despite her rejection, he doesn't plan to give up. The next day, Choi Ki-jun visits the staff dormitory to help young Hannah pack, as it was designated for Bong Kol-hee during his matchmaking period. He changes a light bulb and invites her to dinner, which she declines. On the small island, Bong Kol-hee packs clothes and brings his niece and nephew to town with young Hannah's favorite dishes. The next morning, young Hannah picks them up. His niece asks if young Hannah would take responsibility if her matchmaking failed. Young Hannah laughs and changes the subject. Later they arrive at the dormitory, where Bong Kol-hee invites her to stay for dinner because of his delicious cooking. She enjoys a large bowl, and as they are about to part, Choi Ki-jun reappears. Bong Kol-hee immediately hugs young Hannah, but upon learning of Choi Ki-jun's role as team leader, he politely shakes hands with him. Choi Ki-jun hints that he has moved into the dormitory next to Bong Kol-hee. The following Monday, under Choi Ki-jun's lead, the team begins selecting suitable matchmaking candidates for Bong Kol-hee. The team received several matchmaking applications, all from women interested in meeting Bong Kol-hee. To match Bong Kol-hee's needs, young Hannah had him fill out a matchmaking questionnaire with options A or B for each question, which he took seriously, marking his preferences such as whether he likes clingy partners or prefers independence. The team members assisted in filtering the female candidates, but found that most came with ulterior motives, like influencers looking to promote their channels. Only one woman seemed suitable. Meanwhile, Young reflected on her own thoughts about marriage. Before her ex-boyfriend cheated, she had dreamed of a warm, happy marital life, including a boyfriend cooking delicious meals for her. Although her dreams were shattered, she didn't regret her current decisions. The day after tomorrow was the matchmaking day. Bong Kol-hee asked young Hannah to accompany him to the mall to pick out suitable clothes. Young Hannah agreed and chose a white shirt for him, but noticed scars all over his back. After shopping, she reassured Bong Kol-hee not to be nervous about the upcoming date. Bong Kol-hee joked that young Hannah once claimed he was her fiancé, and their playful exchange was seen by Choi Ki-jun, who felt jealous. On the other side, the daughter of a corporate president, Oh Ina, was also matchmaking but hadn't found a suitable match yet. Just after declining a date, a man shouted a warning and pushed Oh Ina aside, saving her from a falling safety helmet. This man, who looked like a wealthy heir, was actually Bong Kol-hee, who had just straightened his hair, looking very handsome. Soon after, water spilled on him, but he was more concerned about a scratch on Oh-ina than his own appearance. He offered her a band-aid and left casually. The incident made him revert to his untidy look, wearing a plaid shirt and padded jacket, with his hair back to its natural curls. To make a good impression on his date, Bong Kol-hee planned to tell some corny jokes, which Young Hana immediately vetoed, advising him to just relax. The entire marriage team pretended to be customers at the restaurant to observe Bong Kol-hee's date. His date, a gentle and beautiful woman, expressed her desire for a partner who shares homemade food and small joys of daily life. Bong Kol-hee, who excels at cooking, was moved and agreed with her views on marriage. The team was nervous, hoping the date wouldn't fail. It went well, and they even agreed to meet again. After the date, Young Hana took Bong Kol-hee for a homemade meal at a restaurant, not at home. Bong Kol-hee tried the food and loved it, feeling it truly had the essence of homemade cuisine. Young Hana says home cooking doesn't have to be eaten at home. As long as you're with people you're comfortable and happy with, any meal can feel like home cooking. The owner of the restaurant is a close friend of Young Hana, almost like family, which is why Young Hana always enjoys eating here before heading home each night. Bong Kol-hee shares his thoughts, emphasizing the importance of home cooking. On today's matchmaking questionnaire, under the question, "What do you think marriage is?" Bong Kol-hee wrote that marriage is like home cooking. He shares Young Hana's vision of a simple, fulfilling happiness, hoping to comfortably share meals with his other half. Young Hana recalls the woman's words from the matchmaking event. The woman had a very good impression of Bong Kol-hee, since during their meeting he served her warm water instead of cold, a detail that highlighted his gentle nature beneath his simple appearance. Bong Kol-hee enjoys taking his nieces and nephews out shopping. When a kindergarten bus broke down by the roadside, leaving the children stranded, Bong Kol-hee quickly fetched shopping carts from a supermarket. He let the children sit in the carts and held their hands carefully, helping them across the street. Young Hana, passing by, found the honest Bong Kol-hee especially endearing in this moment. The scene of Bong Kol-hee helping the children cross the street was captured by passers-by and shared online. Thanks to these heartwarming photos, Bong Kol-hee became a social media sensation again, and earned a new nickname, Adorable Shopping Man. Oh-ina saw the news and realized that the adorable shopping man was the prince who had saved her earlier that day. She felt very moved and went to Bong Kol-hee's dorm that evening, only to find Young Hana there as well. However, when Young Hana opened the door, she was shocked to see Oh-ina, the woman who had cheated with her ex-boyfriend Choi Ki-jun 3 years ago. At that moment, Choi Ki-jun also happened to pass by, seeing the woman and man who had betrayed him, filling Young Hana with anger.